Alright, I think we're just gonna get started. Because who knows how long this is gonna take us to get through. The video's only an hour long, but if anything is to be said about our reaction videos, we talk a lot, so yeah, if that's not your thing, you know, the video is in the description. Shout out to FPS DIESEL. This is his video. Again, linked in the description. Check it out. Brandon, how much about the Thorps do you know?
What you told me yesterday, that I basically just know that they, how do I put this nicely? They're very familiar with each other.
Yes. So we're going to watch this video. We're going to discuss, because I want to know what his opinion on this is. I'm very curious. So let's just get into it.
I'm gonna, before we start, I'm going to make a hot take. I think the actions I have learned about are evil, and they should, be locked up for it.
Okay.
Many a streamer and content creator. Some were once thriving.
There we go.
Who've fallen onto hard times that are now in need of cash to continue
Hello, Craig. Good to see you, man.
their lifestyle. Others on
Welcome.
lack self-awareness to realize how showing this desperate side can only hurt them in the grand scheme of things, thus becoming jokes in online communities that are deemed lolcows.
Brandon, do you know of any good lolcows?
Nope.
You don't know any?
Never even heard that term before.
You've never heard the term lolcow?
Nope.
What do you mean they're really familiar with each other? You'll see.
No, you'll learn.
We're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into it. Brandon, Boogie would be a lolcow. Wings of Redemption would be a lolcow.
Yes, it is an innuendo for something else.
Absolutely, 100% is. They are way too familiar with each other.
But what about the ones who have been self-aware or have some self-awareness and were never relevant to begin with? The ones who...
Like me and you.
Yay.
Let's just be real.
know they're being presented online, but don't care. Will stop at nothing to grab the viewer's attention.
Well, you know, I'm not about to do that.
There's a whole family of them.
No, it literally goes against, like, my own, I guess, like, moral compass.
I'm afraid of my dad. What am I lying about?
Is that a crime?
Abusing my dad because my mom showed me how to do that because I have generational trauma.
No, you know who sexualized?
You weren't looking at the screen. We need to go back. We need to go back, Brandon. You missed that. Look what you're in for. Are you ready for this? Look what you're in for in this reaction video. What the fuck am I looking at right now?
Abusing my dad because my mom showed me how to do that because I have generational trauma.
No, you know who sexualized my daughter? Her father in heaven.
I fucking hate it though, because like there's nowhere
What?
to go if you say that. I'm just like, shit. Whatever, like I just start saying in my head, like, okay, there's nowhere to go, there's
I have standards for myself that would never let me
Literally
do
what?
this.
Do what?
Become a lolcow. I'm out of here already.
Craig's like, oh, I can't even deal with this. I'm out later, dude.
We're a minute 21 in, and it's already breaking the strongest of men.
So, this time, things are going to get weird. Incredibly weird. I'm just warning you about all this right now, so actually, unironic trigger warning. Whatever you want to call it, we're going to be mentioning some incredibly heinous stuff. I'd also like to point out that all of this is alleged, and that, from my knowledge, there has...
Dude, alleged, I wouldn't say... I guess you have to say alleged because there's no concrete evidence.
Yeah, and that would be
But we know. We know.
defamatory.
Absolutely, we know, right? It's one of those things where you have to say it's alleged, but it's like...
It's even
wink,
until
wink.
they're actually like... Until they're actually, like, charged with the crime and sentenced to the crime,
Correct.
It has to be alleged.
It has to be
you
alleged.
could see somebody waving their name tag with a gun shooting people, and they'd be like, alleged shooter, Bob Kennedy.
Yeah, exactly. You have to say it, but it's
There's
like,
not been any substantial proof that has led to an actual conviction or any of that in any way. Now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about the first alarming thing, Rhode Island, aka the Ocean State. It's the birthplace of Peter Griffin, and honestly, just kind of a state. Not much to it. It's really small. I believe Sam Hyde might do a lot of work there, but none.
he's not wrong, dude. I never hear anything about Rhode Island. Ever.
Except in Family Guy.
Like, literally, when's the last time that Rhode Island was in the news for something? Sounds like my kind of place. Let's go there.
Nonetheless,
No.
it's kind of a relevant state.
People like this live there.
However, if you'd like your daughter, this state is for you, my friend. Because apparently, incest is illegal between consenting adults within the state of Rhode Island. And not only
Yikes.
that, the age limit to be a consenting adult in Rhode Island is 16 years old. So technically,
We've talked about this before. I still think the age of consent should be like 25. Just saying. Like,
I think once you're legally allowed to buy alcohol.
yeah, that would be better. I still think 18 is even too young.
I think you have to be 21 to buy alcohol.
Correct.
So I guess I'm saying 21. Whatever the limit to buy alcohol is in the state should be the age of consention, because by that point, that is like the big barrier, I would say.
The last big hurdle before you're
Yeah.
considered a full adult. I would be fine with that, I guess. But even at 21, dude, I remember how I was at 21. I was a moron. I don't know. I guess
but
it's
you
just
were a
that
moron
perspective.
with knowledge.
What?
You were a moron, but you were a like a smart enough person to make your own decisions.
No, I was a moron.
you want her, you know, with a 16-year-old daughter, then there you go. Head over to Rhode Island and become the family guy. The Ocean State apparently really loves this sort of family lifestyle. As such, there is in many a case.
Become the family
So
guy,
you
huh?
might be wondering, why am I mentioning incest? Well, let's introduce our main characters. Hailing from beautiful Rhode Island, the fabulous family that is the Thorps. This is going to get complicated, so to keep it simple right now, the Thorps consist of 4 main characters within the confines of the internet story here. First off is Ben Thorpe, a 6'8", 50-something-year-old Goliath of a man.
Jesus Christ! I didn't know he was a fucking giant. Look how tall this man is. I'm like 6'1". It's very rare that I have to actually look up at people. You know what I mean?
Oh, same.
How tall are you? You're like 5'11" or something. You're pretty short.
Yeah,
Who is
5'11's
a
not that short.
That's what 5'11" short people say too.
But is that what 6'1" short people say too?
Oh, sick burn, Brandon. Sick burn.
Eventually, you're going to be like the average, and then it's going to go down to where you're short.
Lalo,
Can I
ask
curse?
if Ben would rather fight me or Darius since we are close in size. Since. Not since. Since we are close in size.
I mean, I
Lalo,
don't mind if you curse.
you would get your cheeks slapped. Can I curse? I don't give a crap. As long as it's not terms of service breaking and I have to ban you. Don't break TOS.
To homicidal, well, I would say violent rage.
Yeah.
Non-homicidal, violent rage. Every day.
Then we have
Every day. That's not healthy.
Courtney Thorpe, also over 50, I believe, the ex-wife or wife of Ben Thorpe and mother of his children. She is also very mentally unstable and is a frequent self-sabotager and a kind of a attention freak.
My girl, don't lie to me. Tell me.
The sock puppet is my new favorite Thorpe character. Does it have a name? Do we know that?
I don't. I'm not going to say that.
What were you going to say?
I'm not going to say it.
Can you text it to me?
No.
Why not? What are you gonna say? You can't leave me with that.
I was gonna say something really bad.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Where did you sleep last night?
After watching a lot of her streams,
Yikes, man. Here, let me turn this up so you guys can enjoy
she tends
this.
to get milked for content quite a bit by her ex-husband and daughter. By the way, speaking of daughter, the star of the family, if you will, is one great
The sock puppet is part of the lore now.
Thorpe. Now,
That
Absolutely.
is what I'm
sweet
afraid
enough.
of.
At first glance, she almost comes
Considering
off like a
Ben
normal
Thorpe's
young woman in her early
proclivities.
20s, just trying to make content. But after watching a few hours of her streams, you'll find that the apple doesn't fall farther from this tree, because just like Ben and Courtney, Grace also has her bouts with mental illness and has exploited her mental state on live stream from time to time. Like her father, she also participates in playing up the family drama for views, as she's what you consider a henchman for her father. She seems to be attached at the hip to him. However, she might be a little
I'm just gonna say, I think they kind of teeter on the edge of horror cow more than lol cow, because there comes a certain point where this is not even really funny anymore, and it's just kind of like degrading and gross. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know about all that.
too attached. Remember how I had just mentioned all that incest earlier? Well, we're gonna get to that one. The other sibling is John Thorpe, who seems pretty normal. Just a young kid who's...
How can you seem normal in this environment?
Family. There's also another brother named
I
Tommy,
mean, there's
but he's not
always a
Black sheep.
like, no, there's always a sheep. But what I'm going to say is, like, you get like the people who start with nothing, have abusive family members and stuff like that, and then they grow above that to live a normal life. It's not that unheard of, and usually it's like the strongest people come out from an environment like what I'm assuming this kid lives in.
We will see, I guess.
Streams as much and seems normal enough. From what I believe, there are 3 other kids, but they're all minors, so I really don't want to give them that much attention because that would just be unfair to them. So that's the family as you need to know it. The Thorpes, the family of lol cows. Ah, look at these. Aren't they cute? They're so in love, too. I bet they lived happily ever after, right?
She's got a long neck.
Trying to pace together. I bet they lived happily ever after, right? Yeah, no. Trying to pace together the Thorpe's background is
she
very
does.
nauseating, as it's all over the place.
She has a long neck and I have no neck.
Narrator. Again,
Let's go.
the giant of a human being is also crazy and has been reported with bipolar disorder, but don't worry because he apparently also cured himself of that mental illness as well. At least that's what he claimed. As far as I can find, Ben began working as a...
Oh, hold on. What?
He's crazy with bipolarism, but he's cured himself of bipolarism.
Crazy and has been reported with bipolar disorder, but don't worry because he apparently also cured himself of that mental illness as well. At
Oh,
least that's what he claimed.
okay.
As far as I can find, Ben...
What's
Can you
his-
post that study?
Yeah, what is his secret, dude? I'm sure that would definitely be beneficial if that information was shared. How did you manage? How did you do it?
Catholic theology teacher, where he would meet his future wife, Courtney, who was also working...
A lot of this comes via Shamu's coverage of the Thorpes, and they talk on the kill stream as well as on Destiny.
as a teacher at the same school. The two wound up married sometime in the early 2000s after Courtney had become pregnant with their oldest daughter, Grace Thorpe. After that, they would have 5 more children.
When she got pregnant, that was before you guys were married, right?
Okay, so this is Ben right here, right?
He looks crazy.
Do you know who he reminds me of? Hold on. Let me find something real quick. It's just give me a moment. Here, I'll play a little bit of music here in the background.
I gotta get that Crash Bandicoot song for stream. Boom, boom, boom.
Okay. I had to find his name. He reminds me of this fucking guy. You know who that is?
Did you send it to me? Oh,
No,
No?
it should be on the screen.
I just see the worst Thorpes in a black thing.
Oh, hold on. Okay.
Unless you're showing it on stream, which I don't have up.
Hold on. Did that work?
Yeah,
Can you see him now?
I can see it.
He looks like this guy. He looks like the dad from Resident Evil 7. Which, the dad from Resident Evil 7 was also a giant. There we go.
Yeah, I'm saying that.
Maybe that's where they got the
pregnancy
inspiration
was
from.
raped.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, gotcha.
So I'm glad we didn't, you know, you know, it's a Catholic school. Basically, they want you to have an abortion, I think, in a situation like that, because it's embarrassing for the school. And everyone does. But
What a thing to talk about with the child who you were thinking about aborting sitting right fucking there, dude. That's kind of weird.
Well, considering the family dynamic, I'm pretty sure she knows all this already.
Yeah, but it's still kind of weird.
like, everyone's having premarital sex and there's no children. So, yeah.
I ended
so,
up trolling that very school into supposedly calling the FBI on me years later, so.
Yeah, we have a whole other thing that we're going to be doing.
So after teaching, Ben moved to work on in real estate, where he found.
Oh, he
some
was a
success
teacher.
and made
That's
a little bit of money.
fantastic.
Sometime in 2012, the family opened up their own family business, where they managed an Ethiopian restaurant, and this is where things sort of began to.
Why Ethiopian? I had already known that. Like, I heard that before. Why Ethiopian?
Mm-hmm.
Looking at them, I wouldn't say they have Ethiopian roots. It's like, that's just a
Nope.
strange choice to me. I don't know.
To dissolve for the family. Courtney reportedly became overwhelmed with tasks. Ben later explained that she did not know how to delegate the work for the employees that were under her, which led to her stress level rising and caused her mental health to implode. Later,
Well, where was he? Was he not helping?
Yeah, right.
it would be
How
theorized.
about
that Ben
you
was
also take control and delegate
like-
for her
like, what
if
the
she
fuck?
can't delegate?
If she's
Were
not
you just
good,
sitting there in the office, leaning back, being like, "This bitch."
this bitch can't do nothing. I mean, that's kind of what it sounds like, though.
Hold on, Matthew.
What?
Let me send you something.
Okay. What are you sending me?
I'm sending it out in Discord.
Okay.
Actually, can you just mute us? I think it'd be easier if mute us for a second.
Oh, okay, hold on.
That way I don't type it. Okay, are we back?
Yeah.
Okay, let's continue.
as much as he could, and this led to her being overwhelmed. But Ben and Grace both denied it. Eventually, the Ethiopian restaurant would result in a failure, and the family was forced to move on.
Shocker.
The cracks within the family's foundation were already starting to show now.
Okay, this
The
happened.
restaurant started when I was 8 or 9.
See what happened, even in the restaurant, you see the same pattern.
2012, I think.
We had an Ethiopian restaurant, so we hired Ethiopian refugees.
What?
This sounds like exploitation to me.
Exploitation?
Yeah,
for sure.
that's what I said.
So we were like, it was a strange business because the owners were not Ethiopian, but we had like the most black employees you could ever have, and but she wasn't able to relate as a manager. You know, as a manager, you have to delegate tasks.
So what were you doing, Ben?
Right?
What the fuck were you doing, buddy?
You were also a manager. You should have been able to delegate those tasks.
So she actually alienated all the workers. They'd be standing around speaking Amharic, the language of Ethiopia. She'd be doing all the work, and then she'd be exhausted. And Grace was stuffed upstairs to be the mother of the kids.
Where were you, man?
Yeah, this seems like just a continuing of absence of you.
Which was not how it was supposed to go.
Real quick, when you say upstairs, was this restaurant ran out of your house, or?
Why is that the first thing this guy's... My first question, unless I'm missing a piece of information, was he in prison at this time, maybe?
I don't know.
Because I know he's been to prison.
But, like, if that's the case, then he should be talking like he knows what's happening, what happened there. Because he really
that's
wouldn't
also
have
true.
known.
That's also true.
Or do you mean like the kids would go to the restaurant, or what do you mean when you say
We
house?
were near, yeah. So we semi-lived there. We were near Brown University in Providence, which is a kind of place where an Ethiopian restaurant.
And he's
is.
saying we, so he has to have been there as well.
Yeah, so what the fuck was he doing? Because if they had Ethiopian refugees doing all the fucking cooking, and the mom was doing everything else,
I think she was
and Grace was
cooking by the
raising the
sounds
rest
of
of the children, where was this guy?
He couldn't. He had to watch the game.
Maybe that's it. Maybe he was very busy
I
watching
had something else.
television.
And yeah,
What are you thinking right now?
how awful Ben could be.
This is okay, yeah, fair.
Cuisine, but-
Hello, CB. How are you doing
It was a great
tonight?
location, but it
What's
had
up,
3
CV?
floors, and the 3rd floor was we used 2 floors for the restaurant. The 3rd floor was like this, it was like not up to snuff. You could look through the. Remember that, Chris? You could look through the.
Yeah, in the
base
bathroom.
down to the floor below. But I mean, it was
We had a house like that. Remember that?
No,
When they installed the air conditioning unit in that house that we lived in with Dad, they didn't do all the duct work. Like, they just stopped at the end of the basement and didn't continue the duct work far enough. But there was a vent above Brittany's room that went straight into the bathroom.
mm-hmm.
I think I ended up like putting a piece of plywood over it and just blocking it off. But yeah, they just left it open.
We're learning about
The Thorps. We're learning
yeah,
about
I
the
was gonna say
Thorps.
something. I was trying to say something a bit more mean, but blocked into like sounding neutral.
So you're actually catching us at a perfect time. We're only 8 minutes in, and all we've learned at this point is that Ben, the father here, and Grace, the daughter here, are very familiar with each other, and they live in
We
Rhode
actually
Island.
haven't even learned that. We just know that incest is legal, and to be a consenting adult is to be 16, and that he has alluded to her being attached to his hip in a more physical sense. We have not actually heard
Okay,
any of the
you were correct. You were
details.
correct. You are correct.
okay.
Sometime in either 2017 or 2018, the Thorps experienced somewhat of a rift between the family, and it would only get worse from there. The major division with the family was between Grace and Courtney, who Grace has accused of being emotionally abusive and neglectful. And during Grace's childhood, while they were being homeschooled, Grace was forced to act as a second mom to her siblings, which was an
Where was Ben?
This my question.
Like we keep talking about how Grace was being the second mom to the kids. Okay, where's Ben?
Where's the father?
Where's Dad at?
emotional toll.
He's
for
gonna
the
have that
family.
old
As pointed
timey
out,
thing. If men can't raise parents, raise kids.
Men can't raise parents.
In a Reddit
Yeah.
posted on the DGG subreddit, a Reddit user going by Black Trinity, some of the allegations of abuse that Grace had levied against her mother can include the following. Courtney telling Grace that she was just 16 years old when she hoped Grace would kill herself.
Yikes, dude.
So
Abandoning her
Courtney
children.
told a 16-year-old.
I hope you
Good
kill
Grace.
yourself. Yes.
I hope you kill. Okay, just make sure I heard that right. Because also I could have heard that as like Courtney being 16 and telling Grace, which would be really fucking weird.
No, I think Grace was 16.
Children, physically abusing Grace's younger brother, John, not maintaining the house to the point where the kitchen turned into a moldy, rat-infested pigsty, forcing Grace to fake documents so they
Again,
could pass their
where
homeschool
was Dad?
curriculum without really learning anything. Now, later on, it was revealed in an interview that Ben was the one who brought up Courtney's abuse against Grace to Grace after reportedly coming to the realization that Courtney was trying to manipulate Ben into thinking that his daughter was a horrible person. During this, Ben claimed that he later came to the realization that Grace was actually a wonderful human being, even though
Wait, I'm
Okay.
fucking lost, bro.
So I'm gonna try to piece this together from what he said.
Okay.
Courtney was emotionally abusing Grace, allegedly. And the person who found out about this was Ben, but he only found out about this because Courtney was trying to convince Ben that Grace was a terrible person, and later on, Ben found out that wasn't the case.
Sure. We'll just go with that.
This still gets to the point, what the fuck is Ben doing at this time?
He treats her like shit, and that he was being turned against her. This would be around a time when Ben and Grace would grow much closer, and Courtney would drop out of the picture altogether.
Oh,
allegedly
God.
neglecting her children as they grew older. Eventually separated from his wife, and he and Grace would move in together across the state, where
Just the way that was phrased, Brandon. Not that they would move away. Not that they moved
in together.
They moved in together.
Which is usually what you say when you're like dating somebody, you're engaged to somebody. That's like the words you use.
Yeah.
his two older sons, John and Tommy, would later join. After which, Ben claims Courtney would concede that she was not taking care of the youngest children, and Ben would have to go back to her place to take care of them, migrating back and forth between both households to try and keep everything together.
If it's left to the father, right, because their mother has basically dropped out of the picture, right? For the last 5.5 years, she's just been totally non-responsive because.
Okay, so
what have you done to help with this?
Right.
What are we doing here? So I think a girl can get alienated, and you know, Grace is a natural performer. She's always been a performer. You could say that I exploit her by saying that I think she could do great performing as a career, but
stop saying that word.
Do I benefit from it? Would I benefit from it? Sure. I don't think there's anything wrong with families encouraging their kids to succeed.
Really, fucking context is very important with that particular phrase there, my friend. You want your daughter to succeed in ways that most people would deem to be inappropriate, to say the least. Like, that's putting it very, very mild and very
especially with the context with performing.
Family friendly. That's the phrase I was looking for. So, I don't know.
Mike,
Also,
I hate that word with the context I know about this dude.
Also, I find it very odd that he's talking about her in this way, and she's sitting right here. Is that weird, or is that just me?
Is that her?
I'm pretty sure that's Grace.
You have to remember, there's like 3 children that we don't know about.
Yeah, but that looks like her, man.
And I think a part of that is when she first came on stream. I mean, obviously she's a very lovely young lady, but the sexual, let's say, sexual attention that an attractive young woman will get on stream can be difficult to negotiate. Would you agree with that?
Sure, it can be difficult, but
it can be exciting, overwhelming. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I am not disagreeing with that, but you are talking about this man is 45. He talked about pimping your daughter out on you know, and no father, I think, who, or any parent really.
No sane, normal thinking person.
Guardian. I would even go, like, not even say father or mother. Guardian would want to look at their child and be like,
yeah, you know, you could be
of the internet.
You could be successful if this guy pimped you out. That's totally fine with me, because beautiful young lady, you deserve that attention. That's weird, bro.
That attention is one of the most dangerous attentions on the internet.
On the planet, Brandon. Men can be super fucking weird.
That's why I say, like, on the internet, because it can literally traverse the planet.
Like, the first thing that like pops in my head is, did you ever hear about the story with Sweet Anita? The fucking creep that was sleeping on her, like, in her yard, and the police couldn't do anything about it because he technically wasn't breaking any laws. They're like from the UK.
I got one for you. This guy flew all the way from New York, like, a while, and then drove, and he was like one of the streamer's biggest donors, and he ended up setting her car on fire that almost set her house on fire. And the reason he did this was because he learned that she had a boyfriend.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Like, like these crazy fucking incel whack jobs, they're dangerous, man. Because they're mentally unstable.
Because they think that talking to somebody on stream builds this like personal connection where they can develop these relationshipal things, and it's just not true.
Also, the guy that they're talking about, his name is fucking Whoremaxer. Like, what a champion this one is.
I'm sorry, if I got a message from a guy named Whoremaxer, I would ignore it.
I wouldn't even bother with it, man. I wouldn't care. It wouldn't exist.
That's what I'm saying, is I would just ignore it. I would see I got a message, I would see who it's from, and the name was be Whoremaxer. And I would be like, yeah, delete, block.
How can you take yourself seriously going around
with a name like Whoremaxer?
Whoremaxer, bro. What the fuck?
Following a religion.
Now,
And literally everyone in the chat's like, don't trust this man. He's just going to end up hurting you guys.
Right?
3, Courtney would allege to cut ties with the family in hopes of starting a new life. This would cause a lot of conflict for the Thorps, and unfortunately, it would all be exploited on stream. We'll get more into the streaming exploits of the Thorps later, but first, I wanted to talk about the biggest reason for this rift within the family, and that reason would be the Family Guy, the incest.
Phone, and she sent me something, you know, you teenage girl will send.
Every single time he does something, he looks like a different form of a pedophile.
Incest.
Phone, and she sent me something, you know, you
Am I wrong on this?
Hold on, I'm trying to understand what this fucking bumbling moron is saying, dude. Maybe I'll understand it better at half speed.
And then she sent me something, you know, you teenage girl will send something. Maybe it was an emoji of
I think
What?
plant
phrase it was
maybe it was an emoji of a
I think
eggplant
phrase it was hey, can you come up here and bring that big dick with you? And
yeah, right.
Emojis?
Yeah. Yeah.
So she sent that to him, right?
That's what I'm assuming.
No daughter would send that to their father.
Not in my experience, no.
Alleged, Brandon. That's why it's alleged.
I have no memory. I don't know.
Yeah, something like that. I'm sure. I used to call her Tits when she was 16. You know, whatever.
Wait, what? Did I hear that right?
Yeah.
I have no memory. I don't know.
Yeah, something like that. I'm sure. I used to call her Tits when she was 16. You know, whatever.
You called her tits?
Your 16-year-old daughter, you're calling her tits?
Oh.
I mean, why don't you just come right out and say, yeah, I have fucked my 16-year-old daughter. In Rhode Island, it's legal. You fucking weirdo.
Okay. You know,
Yikes.
I think these kind of accusations were made up by a bunch of bad faith trolls within the Thorps fan base, but no, these rumors of sexual fraternizing between Ben and Grace were actually sourced by one of the family members, Grace's brother, John. Now, John had claimed that during COVID, his father, Ben, was being sexually explicit with his own daughter, Grace. The story goes that while John was going through Grace's phone, he would find text messages between the two in which Grace was sending eggplant emojis to her father. The text reportedly read something like this, quote, "Bring me that big D, daddy." Now this
The reason why that word has forever been banned for me. I absolutely loathe that word now.
I'm just, you know, I think over the age of like 7, the word mommy and daddy should leave your vocabulary.
It should be either mother or mom, dad or father.
Should leave your vocabulary. This fucking mommy and daddy shit weird, man. It's weird. Not meaning to kink shame anybody, but it's fucking weird.
There's some discrepancy here with the age. John claims that Grace was still a minor at the time. However, Ben would go on to say that this was false and that she would have been 18, but Ben also added in a caveat that he did not remember this whole ordeal happening. But if it did...
That's the defense too. I don't remember that happening.
But if I did happen to do this, she was definitely 18.
It would have happened during the time period around when Grace was an adult. Needless to say, when it comes to the state of Rhode Island, it really doesn't matter either way. However, some rumors and accusations have speculated that the age could have been younger than 16. But again, there's never been any sort of confirmation about this thing. Ben also said that he and Grace would joke like this all the time, and it was nothing abnormal, revealing that when Grace was younger, he would make sexual jokes towards her, and that her nickname was, quote, tits, or quote, why don't you bring me some beer? Which guys, I don't know about you, but if you're making jokes like this to your underage daughter, as if she was some cocktail waitress in the 1970s, then maybe, just maybe, you want to rethink some of your parenting strategies.
Yeah, it's fucking weird, dude. I don't care what this guy says or what she says. That is bizarre. That is bizarre. We're in like fucking Looney Tuneville here. What were you gonna say?
I forgot.
Introduced Grace to when she was, I don't know what age, what that means, underage for what? Sexual intercourse?
Yeah, let's
Minor? Under 18?
yeah, let's call it a legal minor.
Well, whatever. Well, I don't remember, but
Enough said. Enough said.
The fact that he's stuttering as well.
The fact that you can't just outright say fuck no. Enough said, dude. We don't need any more evidence.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Like that is without question.
That is just a in my point of view,
I'm telling on myself essentially.
Declaration of guilt.
Exactly. Like, look at this response here. This is the weirdest way you could respond to this question.
Under 18?
The fuck I walk in on. We're learning about the Thorps here. We're learning about the really close-knit relationship between father and daughter, where he called his underage daughter tits.
Yeah, that's the cliff notes. We're only 14 minutes in. Her nickname was Tits.
She sent him a text saying, "Bring that big D, daddy," or something like that.
She sent him a text message with a eggplant emoji that said, "Bring me that big dick, daddy."
Yeah.
Welcome to the internet, Ethan. Where this is, which keep in mind, they live in the state of Rhode Island, which incest is legal in that particular state, and the age of consent in that state is also 16 years old, which is fucking bizarre to me, but here we are. Welcome to America.
Well, I mean, whatever. Well, I don't remember, but I
listen to this. Okay, listen to this question that he's asked here, and the response given is absolutely, like Brandon said, a declaration of guilt without question.
She was, I don't know what age, what that means, underage for what? Sexual intercourse?
Yeah, let's
minor? Under 18?
Yeah, let's call it a legal minor.
Whatever. Well, I don't remember, but
Enough said. Enough said.
Also,
fucking guilty.
Another thing that I really is another big declaration of guilt to me is, do you remember that car burning story I had earlier?
Yeah.
When the cops found him, they told him that somebody had set a car on fire, and he's like, "How do you set a car on fire?" And that has the same kind of energy to what's underage or however he worded it.
Exactly. Like it's a stupid reaction because that's not what a normal non-guilty person is going to do in that situation. Like the fact that he can't just straight away immediately say, no, I never introduced her to any kind of content like that ever, just says a whole lot about what probably happened. You still have to say it's alleged because nothing has been confirmed, but I mean, really?
Talked about, obviously, sexual things with Grace when she was younger. I mean, jokingly.
Why do you bring up sexual things with your underage daughter, even jokingly?
Nah, man. Nah, this guy's fucking weird. This guy's fucking weird.
The fuck do you mean?
That's like when Dr. Disrespect was like, yeah, the conversations tended to lean a little bit towards the inappropriate. You're talking to children, dude. It shouldn't lean towards anything. You should be talking to kids to begin with, in private messages like that. What's wrong with you?
This one is him doing this to his own daughter.
Yeah, this one's on a whole other level. I mean, they're both evil and fucking disgusting, but yikes, bro.
I called her tits, I think, when she was 15. Hey, tits, when did you bring
She was 15.
I've consistently said, like, I don't think that's...
Well, I mean, Mike, I mean, kids these days know about this stuff, and it much...
They know about this stuff, sure, but it's not coming from their parents, you fucking psycho.
You are supposed to be the moral pillar for your children.
Brandon, that is a very mature take from you. I'm proud of you.
What the fuck?
I'm proud of you. No, I didn't see that coming. I didn't see it coming. And Brandon comes out here with like the wisdom, like the old school wisdom. Good on you, bro. Fucking fireworks for Brandon.
When I was young, I learned a lot from my father. And I was, I think a lot of the things I still hold in my moral compass today comes from my father.
I agree. I feel the same exact way.
So, like, I've always, in my mind, seen, parents, since they're the guiding light of their children, as, like, the moral pillars that the children, slowly build their own moral pillar on.
Yeah, they are, essentially, your children are an extension of you. Like, I can see, me and Darcy were actually talking about this today, about how I see a lot of dad kind of in you, like in the way you talk and your mannerisms, especially the way you hang up on the phone. Like your whole, like when you hang up, you say, "Oh, bye-bye." It's exactly how dad used to hang up the phone too. Like it's just little things like that, but like you're kind of you're definitely more selfless than like your sisters are, for sure. And I think you get that from him as well. So I don't know. I agree with you. And like I said, your children are an extension of you. They're going to gain and understand and learn your way of doing things. And this guy's like, "Hey, tits, go get me some more beer." Like at that young age where she's still kind of trying to figure out what sort of person she wants to be in life,
And like, we can even go farther back, when she was 8 or 9 and having to raise children while Ben was out doing whatever the fuck he was doing.
Right, man. It's just crazy. It's crazy. It's no wonder that she's... I mean, I don't know these people personally.
Right.
I have seen bits and pieces of Grace and seen how she behaves, and it makes a lot of sense that she did not have structure growing up. And if she did, it was because she was being groomed by this fucking sick-ass, disgusting pervert over here who is sexualizing his own child. I have zero respect for this piece of shit.
Everything
respect.
We're learning about this, too, of how he talks to her and all of the past that we're learning, in my head, leads to a grooming.
Well, yeah, that's because that's what it is.
So it's like, it's even more, like, nefarious, I could say. This is, like, without talking about the genetics or anything like that, this is one reason why incest should always be illegal. Because the easiest child to groom is your own, to follow in your own profanity.
Yeah, essentially. You're not wrong. I can't disagree with you. But it's just, this whole thing is just fucking disgusting, man. It's absolutely disgusting. Like, I view her as a victim of this. But at least at this point. I don't know everything about them, but just from what we've learned up to this point, I would see her as the impressionable victim, the unwilling, or at this point, probably willing participant in this madness, but just not knowing any better. She's a product of her environment. Let's get back into this, because we're only 14 minutes in, and we have been streaming for almost an hour. Let's fucking stop talking so much.
And I think adults.
I'm not saying they don't. I'm not saying they don't. I'm saying, like, you don't have to engage it.
There were also some insinuations that.
Okay,
Ben and
yeah.
Grace-
Did you hear what he was trying to say there?
Yes, but I want to hear your interpretation of it.
So he was saying that, you know, he was just going along with the flow because of the internet. These kids already know all about sexualness at the age of 15, so he was just going with it. But he didn't want to do it, but he was forced to because of the internet.
Right. Like, again, he's supposed to be the example. He's supposed to be the adult. And he's engaging in this.
And making it more normal and standardized for her to see it this way.
Right. So, yeah, that is by textbook definition grooming.
Had gone beyond just weird flirtatious text, and that this father-daughter relationship had allegedly gotten physical. John would allegedly bring this up to the rest of his family, including his mother Courtney, who ended up believing the allegations, creating a massive split between the family. Courtney and John versus Grace and Ben, as both Grace and Ben believed Courtney was delusional and used these allegations to fan the flames of their hatred for Grace. Grace even claimed that Courtney had grown jealous of their closeness with Ben and Grace's relationship.
So this is their kiss. So Ben goes in and says,
You're done. You're cooked. That's it.
One, you don't kiss your child on the lips.
You're done. At this age especially. Like, it's, I mean, you know, like toddler, whatever, you know, because they just don't know. It's not sexual at that point. That is fucking disgusting.
And even then, it's a quick peck at best.
Yeah, this is...
Not this...
Happy birthday, honey. He sings her happy birthday and says, can I get a kiss? Puts his arms around her, traps her, pulls her in, and makes out with her.
That is actually a very good...
Bro.
Word to use there, because she's not hugging back.
Why? Why? What are you doing? I do wish that was me, though. I wish Ben would kiss me like that.
Inserting these insidious...
I can't even joke about this shit, bro.
I can't either.
I can't even joke about this shit.
I can joke about a lot of things.
Like, this just makes me feel gross. Makes me feel ill.
But things to this extent, like when we were talking about Boogie, me and you were making joke after joke after joke about
Well, that's because that guy's a fucking
microphone.
idiot. He's an absolute idiot. You know, with his fucking
But, like,
tipples.
This is on a different level than that because it's just a very, very sad and depressing thing.
It's absolutely toxic.
Desires onto them to use as ammo. The younger brother, John, however, truly believed that this had happened and that his own father was preying on Grace, and unfortunately, the rest of the family was caught in between. It is worth mentioning, though, that Ben Thorpe has admitted to sexualizing his own daughter for views, letting her dance in lingerie for her stream. He also plays this weird semantic game where he'll go on live streams and admit to fondling his children, but then will state that fondling isn't necessarily sexual when used with
What?
Hey, Ben, I want you to describe to me. Actually, I don't, but what the hell do you mean by fondling? Every single instance I have ever heard that word being used was in a sexual way. Except if you're talking about, like, even then, I would just say holding. So
Yeah,
no.
fondle is not synonymous with hold.
No. It's more closely related to groping than it is holding.
Right. So is he fine with saying that he gropes his children? What is wrong with this fucking dude? What is wrong with this guy?
Like, every single time I've heard it not in a sexual thing, it's always with like an inanimate object.
I've never heard it in a non-sexual like context.
But like, I hate to tell you, if you go on a live stream and say, "I fondle my children," allegedly, I don't care what you say after that. I know exactly what you meant.
Yeah.
In the context of his family, hugging his children, playing with his children, caressing his children while they're crying. These are all things Ben
don't say caressing.
The idea that a woman,
if you Google fondle, stroke or caress lovingly or erotically.
Yeah, right. So
yeah,
stroke.
So
yeah, stroke. I stroke them erotically.
Okay, so let's on stream here. Let me go to Google. Fondle. Stroke or caress lovingly or erotically. So by definition, there's a technicality that yes, he could be using it in the context
I hate to tell you,
of stroke or caress lovingly.
Children, or I guess caress wouldn't be that bad, but if he says because he specifically said the stroke one, not the caress one.
Stroke or caress lovingly. Stroke and caress are essentially the same thing.
I understand, but the way you say them in a word changes the meaning of that sentence drastically.
So there is a context where he could use this word.
But I do think the devil's in the details here.
Exactly.
Where, like, you caress a baby, that is true. But no one ever says, I stroke my baby.
Nobody ever says, I fondle my baby.
But since he specifically used the word stroke and not the caress, I think that is a Freudian slip.
Maybe.
Reasonable, completely reasonable with or erotically for me to think that maybe you're talking about in an appropriate way.
Well, physical intimacy with your children is similar to sexual intimacy.
Not. No, it is not. What the fuck are you talking about? There being any kind of physical contact with a child is basically the same thing as sexual intimacy. What? What the fuck are you saying?
It's not the same. It's not the same.
Fucking same.
It's not the same.
You know what
it's not even in the same universe, bro. It's not the same.
You know what is one of the biggest differences when it comes to that kind of stuff? The intent behind of which you do it. So if your intent is to be more like
I didn't see that one coming.
The intent of which you approach in come into contact with your child, if you're seeing it more of a sexual nature, that right there is inherently the fucking problem.
Oh my god.
Maybe you're talking about in an appropriate way.
Well, physical intimacy with your children is similar to sexual intimacy in the sense that both things involve touching, and everyone gets so fucking uptight about it.
What are you talking about?
I'm gonna tell you right now.
A firm handshake is also touching. Does that mean it's sexual?
It's the same as having sex, Brandon. Next time Somebody shakes your hand.
Pats you on the back, man.
You
I've already
better
had
make-
sex.
You better make sure that you have cigarettes available so you're gonna have your
Next time they do that, they'll say, "Were you wearing a condom?"
You gotta wear protection next time.
You wear your glove when you want to make contact. I don't want no STDs.
Holy shit! Oh.
It's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. So you wanted to know
What you just said was fucking ridiculous. You're an idiot. Absolutely an idiot.
I like voodoo tricks. What the fuck? Are you a victim of being too dumb to explain what you mean? No. I think he is a victim in being like he's a perpetrator too dumb to explain away his crimes.
Well, my message is that I don't.
My message is that I fondle my kids in a sexual way, but I call it caressing lovingly because I'm a fucking
No, he calls it
predator.
stroking. Because that's literally what he said. He was like, yeah, stroke.
Okay.
They're so fucking uptight about it. It's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. So you wanted to know what my message is. My message is that I don't think Stardust, you actually have any problem with what I'm saying. And there is no other word for it. We don't need to redo the entire.
There is another word for it. You're a predator, dude.
Yeah, again, name me the last time you've heard somebody say, "I fondled my baby."
Right?
Like English.
You know what? No,
language
never
because
mind.
yes, things have dual meanings. I've said it's
Do you
totally
fondle
fine
kids?
to.
Then do you fondle your kids?
Instantly shuts the guy up. Because, I want to hear you say, Ben, I fondled my kids. I want to hear him say that.
If we ever get popular, Matthew, you know this is the stream people are going to, take out of context, right?
I don't care. I have it. I have the stream. It's whatever.
I come back and I see an old man and a woman. This is either a bad sign or worse. Well, Stardust here, I assume that's why her name's up there, is asking Ben if he fondles his children.
Which Ben says that fondling his kids is totally fine. He's good with
Because
this.
if you're touching your child for any reason, it's the same as sexually being intimate with them.
It's the
Make that
entire
make
English
sense.
language because yes, things have dual meanings. I've said it's
Do you
totally
fondle
fine
kids?
to.
Then do you fondle your
I
kids?
love that she asked this.
Right?
Well,
Just
my
point
kids are not
blank.
little kids anymore.
Yeah,
so
but did
no.
you fondle your kids when they were little kids?
Yes. Did they sit on my lap? Yes, absolutely. Did they crawl into bed with me and watch TV with me on the with us on the weekends? Absolutely.
Will you say that the specific words? Yes, when my children were small, I fondled them.
Yes, I told you that.
Say it. No, she wants you to say it.
Stardust. Yes.
Say it then.
I
Say
fondled them. Yes.
Okay. All right.
I love fondling my kids when they were little kids.
This is an argument he brings up quite a bit. Never walks it back and always seems to die on that exact hill. Now, I need to reiterate, as far as the incest allegations go, there haven't been any conclusive evidence that Ben Thorpe and his daughter Grace are participating in some incestuous relationship. But if they aren't, then they are definitely portraying it as such on stream in an attempt to gain viewers and donation.
I will keep it up, and I will get rid of the incest angle, because I've been the one promoting that angle, because I've been saying, oh my god, this guy's so abusive, push him away on stream and act like he's manipulating me. I will get rid of that angle. I will!
Yeah. I think that's
I
really
was wrong
great.
for doing that. I was wrong for publicly humiliating him.
Yeah, like, you're so
He's
cool.
the one
You
that
don't
comes
have
on
to
and
be
says he likes to fondle kids, though.
He does like to fondle kids, as do I.
Now, to reiterate, as far as the incest allegations go, there hasn't been any
Such. I hate that wording, man.
Brandon, this is what I was talking about, though. Like, again, she is an extension of her parents.
She'd be what? How old is she now?
I think she's in her early 20s. She's a little younger than you.
I was gonna say, I think she's slightly younger than me. If they were both, if they got pregnant with her in the 2000s.
Yeah.
So she's like a year or two younger than me.
Mm-hmm.
That Ben
And
Thorpe
that
and
makes
his
me
daughter
very
Grace are
sad.
Participating in some incestuous relationship, but if they aren't, then they're definitely portraying it as such on stream in an attempt to gain viewers and donations. Theory is that the family plays up their issues for the stream to create content so that they can reap the benefit. Many believe that the Thorps are just a family of provocateurs, merely trying to push the line, as it were. I will say though, as time continues to go on, the number of people that believe that this is just some sort of ghastly bit meant to tread the line.
No, it stopped being a bit the second that they were sucking face. It's not a bit.
Stopped being a bit way before when he.
No, I mean like
saying,
the second that
What's
they
this?
engaged in any sort of intimate act on camera,
you, okay.
the bit was done. It wasn't a bit
Hey,
anymore. At that point, it's
you
truth.
want to close out of that like word search thing you have on the very top?
Word search thing.
It says 1 out of like 1,880.
Oh.
Between
Sorry about
fiction
that.
and reality is slowly diluting because as you add in the factors of each family member and keep looking through the circumstantial evidence, you may realize that this family is just more than less insane. When it comes to the Thorps, I mean, anything is really possible. As the children grew older, Ben decided to take this opportunity to become an entertainer on stream. He had his background as a Catholic theology teacher and would try his best to become prevalent in the debate brosphere. This would lead to him putting the rest of his family down with him as well. Ben and Courtney would all become online personas.
Hey folks, it's Ben Thorpe here.
He looks like a sleazy car man in this now.
Yeah,
Doesn't
used
he?
car salesman. Absolutely, yes.
Like every single transition of Ben's looks is either one end of a terrible spectrum or the other end of a terrible spectrum.
It's because he's disingenuous, dude. He's trying to look and be something that he's not. That's why it looks so weird.
Welcome everybody on board. I believe you're kind of at ground zero of something, to be honest with you, that I believe that the Lord is trying to do with you. You're playing innocent. You're so full
And
of
now
shit.
you're getting
Or do
so
you handle this?
You're so
Thank
upset
you.
about my questions. It was just a question. I'm not judging you. But then
Oh, you don't find this little kindergarten girl routine disgusting? You're just gonna sit there and pretend she isn't just lying?
Why are you so grumpy with me?
Wait. Can you pause it real quick? I think what's happening here, and this is really funny, is the lady with the glasses is kicking him and he keeps rejoining.
No, the lady with the glasses is Courtney.
Oh, is that?
That's
who's
Courtney.
that?
I think that they're being interviewed by this lady over here. And I think he keeps leaving and coming back in.
So, dude, I'm so confused what's happening here. So, they're getting interviewed by her, and she's asking him a question.
Yeah, and he doesn't want to answer
But
it.
he's leaving in like the middle of his sentences. So it's hard to believe that he's leaving. I don't know what's happening. This is so confusing.
Because you're a disgusting
you're so grumpy.
being.
Hey, could you
It's an act of love. You are a disgusting
In your
human
religion, do you
being.
believe
Disgusting. Look at you.
believe in forgiveness? It broke up.
Look at you sucking on your gigantic soft drink.
Ben began streaming in late 2022 after selling a bunch of his property in preparation. In the early stages,
Is that supposed to be like
some kind of gotcha? Some kind of good old insult?
Yeah. Look at you slurping that giant soft drink.
You know, he's a
Was
witty
it
guy.
supposed to be like an innuendo?
I think maybe he was just saying, look how fat and disgusting you are, drinking that big old soft drink, you chubby motherfucker. I kind of think that's the angle he may have been going. I don't know. It just wasn't very good because.
No, it didn't land on whatever he was trying to say.
No. He had nothing else to go to, so he was like, you're fat.
Well, yeah, of course he started attacking the appearance. He didn't have anything to say.
attempted to break into the conspiracy community and would participate in religious debates. And it wouldn't be long before he became accused of being a grifter. At one point, Ben reportedly paid
Ben a grifter? No. No, that's crazy.
$1,000 to debate the streamer Big Papa Fascist, aka Andrew Wilson, for a guest spot on his show called The Crucible. The two would later have a public falling out that created a lot of drama within that community.
The number one thing on the list.
Sure.
Trust your mother and father. You should definitely do that, right?
I believe as an adult, you should trust your father.
Yeah.
What?
What's wrong with trusting mom? There are a lot of really phenomenal mothers in the world, dude. What's wrong with moms?
What's wrong with trusting your parents? Just in general. Like, why does it have to be one over the other?
Only do that, right?
I believe as an adult, you should trust
your mother
Who takes that away? Is it?
and father. You should definitely do that, right?
I believe as an adult, you should trust your father.
I don't know.
What if your
Probably
father's
Grace.
a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, I think you have to work that out. I'm not
Well,
saying that
hang
every.
on. What does that? Wait. What does that mean?
After being outed by the conspiracy community, Ben took a different approach and would show that he was willing to do whatever it takes, using his family for clout as they became his content. Early on, Grace and Ben's streaming relationship was more like a boss and his employee. Grace acted simply as his assistant, who would help her father from boomering out over the technology.
Now he just looked like an alcoholic.
That's exactly what I was thinking, dude. I was thinking, no, been hitting the sauce a little bit, it looks like.
More like a boss and his employee.
Like I said, every single time we see him in something different, he is a different end of a terrible spectrum. Every single time, right?
Father from boomering out over the technology. Eventually, Grace would become a substantial part of Ben's show, so he could bring in more male viewers. Grace then transitioned to her own channel, where she would stream and gain a following, becoming more prevalent than Ben within the streaming community. Courtney would also become seduced by the opportunity to start a YouTube career and wanted
When the function got what?
to stream on her own.
I don't even like
channel.
coleslaw.
Her streams
Coleslaw's
would
fucking
involve her just
nasty.
Dancing in front of the camera and being really fucking weird. Soon the whole family would get involved and it would turn into a complete shit show. While streaming, Ben was at a terrible disadvantage. You see, he was optically obtuse and was also way too forthcoming with specific details on stream, unleashing all kinds of sexually explicit details about himself that should have stayed within the confines of his man cave, which, as we all know, is a major symptom of becoming a lol cow, as the incoming viewers would use this information to their advantage, milking Ben for all he's worth.
You just want to know, is it really frosting? So
Mike, you tell me. He thinks his semen was going to taste
you don't
like
have to
frosting.
answer this, Mike, but everyone knows it's true. Everyone.
Have you tried your own semen? Is that something you did? You were like one day you're like,
I don't need to know the answer to that question. I don't want to know the answer to that question because I have a feeling the answer to that question is going to be, yeah, every guy does.
He is, and he has narcissistic tendencies too.
Yeah,
and so you know.
No shit. No, really. What brought that conclusion forward? Was it the fucking gaslighting or the grooming or you know the countless other fucking disgusting things this person has done?
Unironically, the thing that really shows it to me is his demeanor.
Okay, sure.
Well, like, you gotta look at it like, if I didn't know anything about this and I just saw this guy,
yeah,
I would know he's a narcissist just by the way he talks, by the way he walks, by the way he portrays himself.
Yeah, his demeanor.
Everything about it is him thinking he's a greater person than the people he's talking to. He talks down to people.
Yeah.
He tries to sound smarter than he is.
That's a huge problem with a lot of narcissists, Brandon. See, I have no problem admitting when I don't know something, and I have no problem admitting when I do something stupid. I know I do stupid shit all the time. It's perfectly fine. Everybody does stupid shit.
See, I believe myself of average intelligence, but I feel like the average is slowly lowering, so I'm becoming smarter by the law of...
Just by Oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Damn it! Oh, not by default. That's not the word.
I would just say mathematically becoming smarter by the average falling.
Brandon's becoming smarter by technicality. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
It's true. Everyone.
Have you tried your own semen? Is that something you did? You were like one day you're like,
Can we just, like-
I'm gonna taste that. That looks yummy.
The answer is, of course, yes.
So
You may have tried others, Sue, but just for a taste test.
Now, the stream.
Just ignore that one. Continue.
Provided content,
We're not
but
even.
It did not stop there, as Ben, Grace, Courtney, and John would find themselves in their Discord server, arguing with each other all the time for reportedly 5 to 6 hours a day, providing content for all the incoming traffic of rabid pot stirrers within the Discord, who of course proceeded to record the VCs. And this is mostly how the buzz behind this vacuous source of controversy began, as many lolcow hunters and A-loggers began entering this Discord to see what all the fuss was about. This is how content creators like Shamu would become aware of the Thorps.
And so the girl I was living with, she said to me, she's like, one day she was like, guess how old Josh is? And I was like, I don't know, like 21 or 20. She's like, lower. And I was like, I don't know, like 19. She's like, lower. And I was like, 18? She's like, lower. And I was like, 17?
Wait,
She's
what?
like, yeah, 17. So
Grace Thorpe says, answer my question. How old was your boyfriend when you met him in college?
I'm really hoping the statute of limitations is run out on that.
What?
I'm so confused what's happening.
She's like 50.
Yeah.
Grace says, answer my question. How old was your boyfriend when you met him in college? 17.
But I don't understand how, because the context made it sound like she was
like receiving that information.
Yeah, because
Okay.
it sounded like she was saying she was. I don't know.
I don't know either.
But then Grease Maxer says Courtney is a gilf.
I didn't actually. I
So-
don't really feel bad about that at all.
Maybe that.
At all. I do not feel bad about that at all because he kind of deceived me and well, whatever. He's a 17-year-old guy. Like, how is that like a
So
big deal?
she is dating a 17-year-old.
Yes.
Okay.
You know.
Man.
I guess it's the whole family.
During these streams and Discord calls, there would have been these makeshift family therapy sessions where Courtney would come off very guilt-driven, as she would admit to being a bully when she was younger. She also had a horrible habit of being too forthcoming as well. For example, the mother admitted on live stream to having sexual relations with a 17-year-old while she was an adult, wording it the worst way possible, and it was total lolcow behavior. On stream, Ben and Courtney's relationship was insanely toxic. Mostly, it's just Ben continuously demanding her to listen to him while she tries her best to do so, but no matter what she says, Ben isn't having any of it. Grace and Courtney's strenuous relationship would be platformed for all the world to see as their adversarial history began to sprout on the streams, their family lore poured out into the content. Grace used this family dynamic with her mother and the drama surrounding it for views, having personal conversations and arguments that are meant for privacy on a live stream in front of chatters who are commenting on this drama in real time. Within these fights, the mother usually...
Why would you do that?
Because some people just don't care about what you should show to the public and what you should keep locked away.
That's fucking weird too, dude. So the fact that they go out of their way to show this stuff on stream kind of sort of makes me wonder if it is done just for the show. The show of
I
it.
think that's why a lot of people thought it was at first, but the more it goes on, like he said, the less and less likely that actually seems to be.
No, I'm talking about the drama with the rest of the family. The shit going on with Ben and Grace, yeah, that's like I said, once their faces were sucking each other, that was no longer a bit. That's just fucking disgusting and quite honestly, I think he needs to be in prison. But you know, but the no, the drama, like these fights that they're supposed to be having on Discord or in these live streams, I'm wondering if that's like manufactured shit.
It's potentially, but at the same time, I mean, it seems like that entire family, except maybe the younger brother, is a bit
unhinged,
crazy. Again, loopsy. So it could be that it is their outlet to do that, so therefore it is still real.
I don't know. I guess I would have to see an example of this. Maybe we'll get one.
Actually rolled over and apologized or took accountability, conceding to her daughter's attacks. But sometimes when pushed against a wall, as Grace had a habit of doing, Courtney would completely lose it and fight back. A lot of times this would be provoked because it would stir up more content for the family. On occasions, the fights between the mother and daughter would cause Courtney to be brought to tears as Grace would accuse her mother of being manipulative. However, even during these heated moments, the family would not stop interacting with the chat. The chat continued to fan the flames while this weird family drama would unfold between their eyes.
Why would you manipulate people? So you say you're all about the truth, but then you say like, yeah, I'm manipulating people to feel bad for me right now. Why don't you stop?
I just couldn't imagine talking to my mom like this.
I'm gonna say that smile right there, I want to slap her.
Brandon, you can't be slapping people.
Look at that smile and tell me you wouldn't do the same.
I wouldn't slap her.
Hello, Thorps.
This is not manufactured. I promise you.
That smug superiority she's
Look at you sitting
bearing.
crying like a victim.
Now, most of the time, Ben and Grace were on the same page and acted more like...
I don't know, man. That's just gross. Now I feel a whole lot less sorry for her, but because, you know, I feel like at a certain point, you have to be able to be accountable for your own actions. If she's in her 20s, she's old enough to know what's okay and not okay, and treating her mother like that is definitely not okay. I don't know.
I agree.
Like, I know there are some people out there that have done some horrible things, and, you know, their mothers have done horrible things or whatever, and don't deserve to be called mothers. But
see, you do what we do, and the people who you don't see as family anymore, you cut them out of your life.
yeah, to just sit there in demeanor like that is just, that's not okay.
a father-daughter.
Not okay.
However, that doesn't mean Grace is impervious to Ben's psychosis, as Ben is very volatile with Grace in stressful situations during the stream. This leads to Grace being apologetic and emotional. It's obvious that she's really trying to impress her father, and I imagine she sees herself as a female version of him. It's kind of
Which she essentially is.
Mm-hmm.
sad, honestly. Like, if you take away the sexual insinuations, at the end of the day, this is just a daughter that wants her father to be proud of her. Some have also speculated that Grace has this internal fear of turning into her mother. So,
okay. Damn it, I'm fucking things up with my dad. He said that we could maybe relax and watch some vids about the Steven Crowder situation and get to know the whole story more. But I do this thing where I pretend I'm afraid of him and I start choking on my words and stuff and acting skittish. It comes in waves, always worst in the mornings, even though this morning wasn't even that bad. I don't actively choose to pretend to be afraid of him, but I'm saying to myself the whole time I'm acting afraid. Just calm down, just relax. This is just a pattern for Mom. He's your friend. He wants you to succeed.
Okay. No, that is a self-defense mechanism.
Yeah. That is
like
all...
this shows clear like trauma that she is suppressing.
Yeah, she's been gaslit to no fucking end.
I will continue.
Okay.
which is fucking true. I know it, but whatever. I'm not sure. It means that sometimes I just can't relax. Maybe it's a bad habit that'll go away. I can't believe that it means I have to talk to my mother, but that's what I always come back to. She taught me to be afraid of him. I just get in place mentally where I can't calm down. And then I just keep getting more and more agitated. And even when I try to calm down, it just makes me more agitated that I'm not calm. I think I need to manage myself better. I think God is working in mystical ways in my life. I just can't relax and let him do that. So, and here, any thoughts? So,
get away from dad. That's my
Yes,
immediate thoughts. Fucking get away
because
from your dad.
there is nothing your mother could do to have such lasting damages to yourself that a loving father would not be able to undo. I think the biggest example I can give is when I was young, there was a big rift between my mother's side and my father's side. And I was always taught that my father's side, his mother was evil. And then I met her and I never feared her. She was a super nice, kind lady. And this kind of has the same kind of thing where if you know he's not, you wouldn't be afraid of him.
Yeah. I don't know. I think the only solution here is to separate these two.
Distance all the family members. Just restraining orders out the wazoo.
When Ben
This is a fucking boiling pot of toxicity, and the more they interact with each other, the more it's just going to spiral down into a really, really degenerate bad place.
Yep. Yep.
She freezes up and becomes subservient because it activates the idea that Ben may see her just as he sees Courtney. Ben also doesn't hesitate to use this to his advantage and compare the two women when arguing with Grace, which doesn't help the situation. It's also to note that Ben sees Grace as a sort of content trophy, knowing that her looks can bring in numbers, which Ben encourages Grace to flirt with chatters for clout. During family drama, chatters are welcome to interact.
Super dangerous.
And would be brought into the fight, choosing different sides to help aid their favorite Thorpe family member. A lot of the times, the IRL drama from their lives behind the scenes would seep into the stream, which would result in even more content as the family fought with one another IRL, bringing the drama onto the streams to have a weird family therapy session. So now that we've gotten a good idea of how the family portrays themselves online and offline, we can really get into the heart of things, because
this is just the introduction.
It's also a 30-minute introduction, to be fair.
the Thorps career in streaming is just simply a never-ending car crash that you can't look away from, and all of the drama is.
I'm 100% transparent. After we are done with this stream, I'm never looking into these people ever again.
Yep.
They are fucking gross, and they don't deserve my views. Yeah, I have better things to do with my time.
Ben got arrested.
Yeah, I mean, unless something big like that happens, like somebody gets hurt, or something.
They get their comeuppance.
Yeah, it's like that's different, But I have no interest in supporting this sort of person.
She's doing this thing. Why is she lying? Why?
Fix your audio, Ben. It sounds like shit.
So that she doesn't.
No, get right down to it. Get right down to it. Why? It's one word.
Pride?
Not really. Why doesn't
See what I mean?
Oh, Jesus Christ Almighty! Why doesn't a girl want to say, "Yeah, I'd like to get gangbanged"? Why?
Because maybe she doesn't want to get gangbanged. You fucking perv. This guy's a sex pest, is what he is.
Come
on. Is he talking about Grace?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'd like to get gangbanged. Why? Come on.
Embarrassment.
Yeah. Right. Shame. Okay.
Yeah.
So I would say 99% of women, it's fine in a normal conversation that people say, I'm not going to go there.
Yeah.
Okay, but if you're friends with someone.
Okay, so your belief, Ben, is that 99% of women like to be gangbanged. Is that what I'm
That's
hearing?
Exactly word for word what he just said, yes. I would be more on the fence of, I'm pretty sure it's the other way around.
I was going to say 10% of women.
Maybe 10% of women.
I would say at the highest end, 10%.
And quite honestly, those are the sort of women that I don't want any part to. Yeah, no, thank you. No, thank you.
No.
Every girl with a few drinks in her should say, like, yeah, of course.
Ben, do you want to be gangbanged? Is that what I'm hearing? Is this projection? Do you want a big, fat, meaty cock right up your poop chute, bro?
It's like Sneeko saying, like,
Right?
oh yeah, every dude should watch his girlfriend get fucked.
Right? Well, while his eyeball or his nutsack is being tickled by somebody's fucking eyeballs or whatever.
I think it was the eyelashes.
Yeah, the eyelashes. Every time the guy blinked, his nuts were getting tickled. Fucking psycho, dude. Yeah, that sounds like a great time, let me tell you.
Right? Of course. It's funny and likable.
What? I'm sorry if after a few drinks a girl looks at me and says, I like to get gangbanged. I'm not talking to that person in any, like, I'll still be friends with them, but that would be the extent of that.
I have a confession to make. I like to be stuffed from both sides. Okay. Information I didn't need. You didn't need to share that with me.
I'm not gonna go out and
Oh
drinking
my
with
god,
you again.
no, Brandon. I have a story. Do you want a story? Yeah.
I mean, how much time you got? Because we still got, what, like 40 minutes left.
I don't have to go to bed tonight. I could stream all night. So
okay.
Here's my story. I was working at a factory. Okay. Don't say the name of it because I don't want.
I know what factory you're talking about.
There was a girl there that I worked with who came out of the bathroom one day and said, my ass is really itchy because I didn't wipe thoroughly enough. Don't you hate when that happens? To which I responded, what are you talking about? No. If I have a bit of itch, I go back and finish the job. You know? I'm clean when I leave the bathroom. And she proceeds to, for some reason, tell me why she has so many problems making sure that she's fully clean. She's tender back there. Okay, she can't wipe much because she's tender. And I'm like, yeah, that's great. You don't need. No, she keeps going. Her boyfriend fucked her in the ass that same day. And I was like, that's great. Please shut up. I don't need to. I'm going to walk away now. And she's like, but, he can't do me, he can't do my vagina because I can't feel it. I don't feel it when he does what does me in, the other way. So, I'm looking at her and I'm like, why did you feel the need to tell me this? I've only been working with you for a few months at this point. We don't really know each other. We don't really talk outside of work. Why are you telling me this? Why are you telling me that you can't feel intercourse with your man if it's done vaginally? And she says it's not her. It's not, it's not her problem. She's not the reason that she can't feel it. It's him, and he's too small. So I guess he was doing her in the butt. She pooped on his dick. Okay. She's like, he says, oh shit. And he pulls out and there's shit all over his penis. Okay. Why do people feel that they need to tell random strangers stories like that?
Do you think I understand? I don't. I don't understand that mentality.
It's a conversation that we never needed to have. That never needed to be something that I didn't need to hear this information. Okay? I didn't need that. I still don't need that. Unfortunately, it is seared into my memory. I'm never gonna forget that story. Yay for me.
Of course. It's funny and likable.
So, you talking about that girl who comes up to you and talks to you and tells you that she likes to get gangbanged reminded me of that girl telling me that she has to have anal sex with her boyfriend because his dick is so small that she can't feel it if he does her in the vagina. Which has all kinds of fucking implications for her as well, but we're just gonna move on because yuck.
And if you're not going to do that, you're really saying, ontologically, men are bad and women are good.
What? Okay.
Where's the correlation there, Ben?
So
what
if a woman says she doesn't like to get gangbanged, she is really saying that she doesn't like men, she likes women?
That's exactly what he's saying. A girl says, no, I don't want to be stuffed by multiple dicks. You know, I'm in a happy marriage. My husband is all I need. I don't need... That woman hates men because she doesn't want to be railed by more than one guy at a time. Make it make sense, dude. Make it make sense.
Okay, what you do, this is how we're gonna make sense. Let's go and I can't think of anything.
Yeah, you can't make it make sense because it makes no sense.
And that is fucking annoying.
So to truly understand,
You are fucking annoying, my guy.
You are
one
fucking
has to sift through
insane.
hours upon hours of content in which the Thorps basically stream their own personal melodrama for the whole world to see. If we were to go into full detail and give a specific timeline on all the events on stream, then this video would probably be longer than the Titanic. And I
don't know why, but his shirt's bothering me.
It's because it's like, if it looks like it's super stressed. It's not like a V-neck. It's more like the
elastic's
collar
completely
was
destroyed.
like,
Yeah,
was like too far pulled.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know if that's the
So
design.
it's not just me then, right?
No, that's what exactly, like, I see it every single time it pops up.
I can't quit staring at his luscious chest hair.
And not only that, but
his
like
sleeves.
It looks like, yeah, well, it's like the shoulders look like they have like flaps almost.
It also looks like his shirt is pulled forward really far.
That's what I'm saying. It's
Yeah.
like where you would see like the seams on the shoulders, like down at the like the upper chest area.
I don't know. It's just weird.
Like the collarbone.
Maybe
it's a really.
It's a strangely built shirt. I don't know. It's just bugging me.
As I say, it's a really weird. And then like the collar is frayed at the edge there.
It is. So are the sleeves. Look at the sleeves. They're also fucked up. I don't know. It's just, for some reason, that shirt really bothers me. I like this guy. Like, don't get me wrong, FPS Diesel. I'm enjoying your video. Thank you for it. Again, the link to this video is in the description. Make sure, if you're watching this VOD, check that out. Give the guy a like. Let him know we sent you. But you just gotta be real, man. Your shirt's bugging me.
family truly is. For context, Ben.
No, okay, it is built that way. Now that I see like how the sleeve and stuff goes, it's not as bad.
Yeah, it's when he's like more, when he's not like squared in his shoulders, when he's more like
John, we're
insular.
all living somewhat together. Ben and Grace were living at a house in Rhode Island while John was staying at a studio.
I still
apartment
don't
right
like
next
the
door.
seams on the collarbone area.
Point, John had suffered a broken knee, which resulted in him being forced to use crutches and hobble around. He was basically bedridden, and apparently Ben and Grace were not helping him out around the house. This would culminate in a fight on stream on December 28th, 2022, where John expressed his frustrations towards Ben and Grace as he felt that they were using his temporary affliction as a power game to exert their superiority over him, making him feel like
I want to
he had say
see
sorry
this.
for asking for help.
Yeah,
During
I
the
haven't even
virtual
seen John
confrontation, it
yet.
would basically turn into family turmoil as the son would let out his frustrations against his father, where he conveyed that his father was super manipulative due to Ben threatening to take away his living situation in the apartment.
You are perfectly free to leave from
Yes,
all the horrible
I'm not, Ben. You can't get an apartment when you're 18 just like that. And I have a 2-year lease, or somebody has a 2-year lease. You lied about the papers because you're crazy, as if that's helpful. Maybe you should just tell me what you wrote on those lease papers instead of lying to me and then me.
Well, see, the good thing here is that she smokes like a fucking chimney. So, you know, the nice looks that she is using at this point to become famous, and those that, yeah, that's
Well,
not going to
fade
last. That's
quite
not going to last
quickly.
at all. She keeps that shit up. Smoking's so bad for you, man. It's so bad. It's bad for your skin. It's bad for your lungs. It's bad for every aspect of your life.
And it's bad for people around you.
Agreed.
It literally has like no good benefits.
It has like a mellowing effect. I know it does, but
That's only initially.
well,
That's
yeah,
why
that's
the
how
more
you
you
get addicted
smoke,
to it. Yes.
the more you smoke, the less that actually happens, and the more you have to smoke to get the same level, and it never reaches that same level.
I know. I'm aware.
making me pay half the rent every month. You withhold my renting information. I have no idea what situation I'm. And then whenever you feel like it, you can blow up my phone and ask me to come down there whenever you feel like it, and like threaten my living situation that I hate, threaten everything, ruin my life.
John,
Whenever you feel like it.
John, you
'Cause
have
you're
5.
crazy.
John, you have 5.
Apparently.
You now have 5 cats
Yes,
up there.
then you know why I have 5 cats? Because you invited every piece of your family to come over, and my cat escaped because everybody leaves the fucking door open. I didn't get my cat pregnant. You did.
Things escalated even further.
I don't even have anything to say about that whole situation because I don't know enough of the context.
And John sounds like he's at the end of his fucking rope.
Right? John's like, I just want to get out of here.
But I can't because you won't be transparent with me.
So back to that narcissism, you know?
Yeah.
The control.
And he's sitting there trying to talk down to him. You can hear it in his condescending voice. John!
Well, let me talk, John. Yeah, this fucking guy.
Yeah.
Further, when John said that Ben looked gay, and Ben would say that he hoped his son would die of starvation, proceeding to challenge his own son.
Oh
to
my
a fight
God.
And claimed that he would beat his knee so he would need another surgery. As a retort,
This is such a fucked relationship these people have. I couldn't imagine living like this.
I can't.
John referred to Grace as Ben's weirdo little slave girl. The father and son blood sport then turned into a slur-flinging contest as Ben would get onto his religious pedestal and say that John was bringing damnation onto himself. This conversation ended when Ben would then...
I fucking hate that shit!
...threaten to ban his son, John, from the Discord. What is this Discord family drama, dude? By the way, these people are all in the same vicinity of one another. They could have had this conversation in person, but instead they have it over fucking Discord in a server or even on a live stream.
Which is also weird as shit. Right?
Yeah, this is another like really bad sign of a toxic family if they can't sit down face to face and have a conversation. They have to do it through an outlet.
Who's this fucking weirdo?
I don't understand why he can't just go to his Discord and do what he wants.
I can ban him. That you want me to ban him? That's
What is this fucking guy on the right doing?
All right, we'll ban you. That's fine. We'll ban him.
Bitches
That's
are.
what he wants to do. He doesn't want to be respectful. It's fine. Do you want to make an like all these retards can go to your Discord?
Fries are busting.
In 2 seconds. So why don't you go to your Discord? I don't care.
Wow, Ben killed the fucking vegan.
Before we go even further, I'd like to quickly explain the power dynamic between Ben and his wife/ex-wife Courtney.
What
Courtney
power dynamic? What fucking power dynamic? It's all Ben.
Okay. I was gonna say technically there shouldn't be one because they're separated.
Are they separated?
Yeah, it says X.
Rolled over, whether it's from guilt of leaving the household or not being able to deal with confrontation, or it could just be flat out mental illness. Regardless, when she finds herself on stream with her husband, the dynamic turns into either her apologizing or agreeing with Ben to the point where Ben seems to take pleasure in it. And even when she apologizes or admits fault,
I'm sure he does.
Ben still isn't pleased. And during
That's
his frequent
because
manic episodes,
this is a really clear sign of abuse.
Mm-hmm.
This is a very clear sign of abuse. And this kind of leads back into the first thing that we really learned about them, which was the restaurant thing, you know, leading her into having a mental like episode being part of Ben's manipulations.
Right. Again, where was Dad this whole time?
Ben will constantly bombard Courtney with guilt, calling her a liar and a manipulator while telling her to kill herself. During one of these
real fucking good guy,
about
this
a
one.
possible annulment between their marriage begun, and Ben was maniacally obsessed with convincing his wife to make this decision so they could separate in the eyes of God. On January 2nd, 2023, Ben Thorpe entered a Discord call with his daughter, wife, and son, in which he attempts to wear down his wife, trying to convince her to do her own stream and tell her audience that they were never actually married due to her lying during her wedding vows. The idea is that because Courtney was not a dedicated wife but promised to be one, then the marriage was null and void. This would turn into a fight between John and Ben, where John proclaims that somebody needs to call the police on Ben, to which Ben later threatens John's life as a challenge for him to call the cops.
So you're going to leave, and then you're going to leave me with this fucking maniac over here who wants to threaten me and call the police on me, and I can't get rid of him because he's going to threaten me. All right, John, I'll fucking come up there and kill you. Okay, so call the police now.
I mean, that's a legit threat. He could call the police.
Well, I mean, that is a viable reason to call the police.
So call the police. Go ahead.
I will.
Okay.
Later on, there was an update where Grace went into John's room and claimed to have been physically attacked. Grace had recorded her perspective and threatened to call the police while Courtney attempts to try and quell the family conflict. The family would then come to an agreement.
This right here is clear setup for something.
What do you mean?
Because Courtney is recording herself walking into John's room, and this whole thing leads to John supposedly attacking her.
I thought it was Grace.
Did I say Courtney?
Yes.
I meant Grace.
I was gonna say, because Courtney's over here sitting. So,
So this really feels like a type of setup.
To have been physically attacked. Grace had recorded her perspective and threatened to call the police while Courtney attempts to try and quell the family conflict. The family would then come to an agreement that if John comes on stream, they won't call the police. As this is what John's decision is going to be, the family reacts to the footage. In the footage, Grace confronts John, calling him an F-slur, to which John replies, "Hey, Tommy, the younger brother, if you were nice to her, maybe she'll suck you off." John then opens
these are all family members.
It only in blood at this point.
It's so fucking weird, dude. It's so bizarre.
Opens the door to see Grace recording him and answers by swinging his crutch at her. Hilariously enough, as the brother and sister argue and fight with one another, the younger brother, Tommy, just sits there on his phone as if this is an everyday occurrence.
Because it probably is.
Charges, John then turns his back towards Grace, boiling with anger and smacking the phone out of Grace's hand. The whole ordeal would be milk, this drama for the stream, and John would even join
And
the YouTube
this is
chat
what
to
I
talk
mean.
shit. Courtney would then
By
beg John
setup.
to come on stream, all while the chat wondered if the son would actually go to jail. After this, Courtney started to loop, while Ben became exasperated and annoyed by her, leaving the stream to her while he went to check on if the police had arrived or not. As Courtney took over the stream, she summed up everything in one perfect sentence. Quote, "This whole family is a huge mess." She would then go on to blame herself forever.
Well, that's the
Ben came
fucking
back
truth.
and claimed that John was taken in by the authorities. It would then turn into Ben bashing his wife about being a victim. They would then take callers who gave Courtney advice on how to deal with Ben, and it would transition into another episode of family therapy. John later bailed himself out, but nobody picked them up.
My
and the
God,
family just
dude.
continued to stream while taking more callers, while one caller attempted to talk to Courtney into making decisions for herself instead of being gaslighted by Ben. Ben kept invading the stream, demanding that she tell this caller why Ben is right. Now, when John finally returned from jail,
I really want to see all this shit, though.
isn't through with his son yet, and he went up to his room to confront him. During this incident, John claimed to have tried to de-escalate the situation by playing music, but Ben grew frustrated and would smash John's speaker and allegedly throw a shoe at his son's kitten. John then departed from his room and got into his car while his entire family surrounded the vehicle so he couldn't leave. After a while, the family of content creators would finally disperse, and John would try to use this as an opportunity to get out of there. However, his car was having issues, and he had to refill his oil. While doing that, the family returned and threatened to take away his cats if he left. Things escalated even further as Ben stood in front of John's driver's side door, attempting to block his son from getting inside. Later, John would eventually be able to get into the driver's seat, but again, Ben blocked the door from closing, and a scuffle ensued. The footage shown of this would conveniently stop as Ben was lifting his leg, allegedly prepared to kick his son in the knee. After that, John would put his car in reverse to get out of there, but Courtney jumped on the hood.
Put his car in reverse? Where the fuck is he gonna go? Where is he gonna go?
Is this how they normally park?
See, this is what I'm saying, dude. Like he's saying a lot, but I need to see more. You know what? I need to see
After
more.
that, John would put his car in reverse to get out of there, but Courtney jumped on the hood while the vehicle was in motion. Later, Ben and John separately.
There was nowhere for it to go. How is it going to be in
Ben would
motion?
be taken and processed for assaulting his son. Ben went on his live stream to celebrate his arrest. Left to his own devices, John started a GoFundMe for help, while Grace and Ben would go on stream to make fun of it. The mother, Courtney, had also sided with Ben, claiming that they have the ability to report John's car stolen since the vehicle is a family member's name, and allegedly threatened to do so if he didn't return home. Later on stream, while discussing his ongoing family turmoil alongside Grace and an IRL friend who happened to be a lawyer, Ben would bring up that he had no issues with flirting with a 16-year-old girl. This apparently was some weird attempt to explain the ambiguity of flirting.
This motherfucker's 50. Keep that in mind. I'm pretty sure he's in his 50s. Has no problem flirting with a 16-year-old girl. In his 50s.
Explaining the act itself isn't necessarily sexual. He would
Randy, you look like you're fading fast.
even go as far to say as confidently that he'd tell a 6-year-old girl that her dress looked pretty, proclaiming that he was a pedophile in the Greek sense and that he loves children.
Well,
So we have a self-proclaimed pedophile. Can we please arrest him now?
I'm just saying, I think I'm the most sexually normal guy in the world.
This piece of shit's the most sexually normal guy in the entire world.
We got over
You are
a
having
billion males.
He's having
And the guy who's looking at 16-year-olds and under and being like, I want some of that, is the most normal guy. Yep.
Because he's like, yeah, I'm normal because I'm willing to come out and say that I like it.
He's open with it.
Yeah, that makes you just as fucking guilty as all the disgusting pedophiles of the world that just haven't been caught yet. Like, go to prison, enjoy prison.
Chris Hansen, please. one more round of To Catch a Predator. I found one.
I have someone who goes to my chat who's a 16-year-old girl, and I was told like that's really, really a problem. I was like, what would be the problem? I chat with her. I would meet her in person.
No! No!
I would tell a 6-year-old.
Stop trying to grab the cupcake.
Ben.
I'm a pedophile in the Greek sense, Mike. Lover of children. I love children, especially girls.
Ben.
I feel like I've entered like the Twilight Zone, where up is down and down is up.
Oh, Ben.
This seemed to be an attempt to be provocative on stream, as Ben would go on to explain further that the Greek sense meant that he was being literal to the word, pedo meaning children, phile meaning lover. Therefore, in the Greek sense, Ben was a lover of children. This whole explanation
No,
made his IRL
pedo
friend
meaning
extremely
children and
uncomfortable.
phile meaning lover means you're a child lover, which is not a good sense. Not a good thing. There's a reason why that's taken into a bad context.
There's a place for people like that under the prison.
Oh my god. It would later be uncovered in a recorded Discord call from November of 2022 that Ben was more blunt with his opinions on flirting with 16-year-olds, and that this wasn't necessarily as ambiguous as he had led people to believe, as he would argue that there's nothing wrong with a man his age finding 16-year-old pussy sexually attractive. That's a quote.
If a guy my age, I'm 50, right? Finds a 16-year-old.
So he is 53 now? Or at least nearing 53?
He's over 50. He's over 50.
If a guy my age, I'm 50, right? Finds a 16-year-old's pussy, okay? Not a person, but I'm saying, if I say like a 16.
You shouldn't even be looking at one that young, you fucking sick bastard!
Wait, hold on. Just. Is he saying that it's wrong to find a 16-year-old person attractive, but their privates,
their genitalia is fine, yes.
Because he's like, their pussy is fine, but not the person.
Yes, that's exactly what he's saying. But you're at that point again. You shouldn't even be looking at one that is that age.
You shouldn't even be like remotely near one.
16-year-old girl is sexually attractive to me. Am I a pervert?
As the family
Yes, yes.
Ben continually. Yeah, what the fuck, bro? As the streaming career has continued, Ben continued to verbally beat his separated wife over the head with attacks on her character, while maniacally interrogating her as she tried to find the right answer that would appease him. It would later be decided that Courtney should go on Whoremaxer's stream to talk about her sexual misgivings with Ben. Now, with a name like Whoremaxer, you pretty much know exactly where this is going to go. But let's go into a bit more.
Apparently, we're actually going to get to meet Whoremaxer. You ready for this?
I am super stoked. Whoremaxer is such an integral part of this story, and we haven't met him yet.
Whoremaxer is a sexually explicit YouTuber live streamer who aims.
How can you be a sexually explicit YouTuber?
I don't know.
To teach men how to dominate women in bed. He's vulgar and
Oh, I'm sure this guy dominates tons of women in bed. I'm sure he gets laid every fucking night.
It's like the alpha males who think that like they're the center of the world and that every girl just wants their dick in them.
Right? This I'm sure Whoremaxer thinks that every woman he sees just begs for his erect cock. I'm absolutely positive.
Did you hear about the guy who, in one of his statements was, if you don't get, like, he doesn't wait in line because whenever he gets in line, the only way to know that you're attractive is if people let you go ahead of them in line. If they're not allowing you to cut in front of them, you're not attractive.
Yeah, I'm sure it's just that most people are like, whatever, I just don't feel like fucking dealing with it.
Or he's just fucking lying.
Or he's just lying.
His own self-delusion that he thinks.
Yeah.
And like, I think another one was like, you're not attractive if a woman doesn't give you gifts or something like that.
Yeah, okay.
some may see he treads the
Teach me how to be a man, Whoremaxer. I'm ready.
line between consensual dominance and actual abuse, depending on your perspective. On a stream, Courtney would basically be exploited by Ben and the sex tuber, eventually submitting to Whoremaxer, getting on her knees, and verbally defiling herself to the YouTuber. It's incredibly hard to watch, as Courtney does not seem to be in the right state of mind for something like this. The things she
No,
would say
because she was a victim of an abusive relationship that she is still participating in.
Yeah, she's a victim just as much as Grace is.
And the more I'm thinking about it, the more I think this divide between mother and daughter was puppeteered by Ben.
Well, we know it was. We know it was. Because Ben told Grace all of the horrible things that Courtney did to her.
Well, Courtney, that Courtney said to him to do, that said to him to get him against her.
Yeah, something like that. Some
but
fucking
what I'm
weird...
saying is, like, we know that Ben is in control in this relationship, and I doubt this changed anytime recently. This probably has been a thing for most of their marriage, if not all of their marriage.
Right.
And so, him convincing her that Grace is evil and having her do that would be a clear way to get his real target, which is his own child, onto his side.
Yeah. Hold on, dude. I gotta text Darcy. I gotta order something. I'm hungry.
Stream would be used as a soundbite and would basically become a meme within the family and their really unhinged community.
Fucking slut. Stay on your fucking knees, bitch. Stay there, you fucking whore.
I'm a dirty slut whore.
I want cock.
I want cock.
Good, that's what you are. And stay there. Don't fucking move.
This guy here, this is Whoremaxer. This is the Pussy Slayer.
The Adonis himself, Whoremaxer.
Found him. Fucking found him, Brandon. There's the legend, Whoremaxer.
However, Courtney would not be the only Thorpe woman to attend the Whoremaxer stream, as Ben encouraged his own daughter Grace to go on there as well. Now, no father in their right mind would be okay with their child interacting with a guy like this. But Ben, well, Ben is a different breed. He's all about the content, and he felt that Grace interacting with this character, Whoremaxer,
Okay.
would be great for...
I am like legitimately getting pissed off. I know it doesn't look like it, but I'm actually like developing a headache.
You're developing an anger headache for Ben.
Yes.
You like Ben, do you?
He's such a stand-up guy, you know.
Yeah. Real quality human being, this one.
Are talking about this man is 45. He talked about pimping your daughter out on on and no father, I think, who, or any parent really, who is following a religion like Catholicism, or is following like a more conservative
He
way
keeps
of
bringing
life,
up religion and about the
okay with
Lord.
a man like named Whoremaxer disrespecting his daughter like that.
Yeah, it's a joke. I mean, it's a bit. He's playing a certain part, and
Even
we're
if
playing
it's a
into
joke,
it. No,
like,
wait a minute.
What's the joke? Where's the punchline? Where's the
Please
fucking
tell me.
ha-ha, buddy?
Please tell me what joke you are spinning here, because I like a good joke, and this doesn't seem like one.
No, what am I laughing at?
You're turning your daughter into a slut? Is that the joke?
Is that supposed to be funny? Because it's not.
You're making your daughter more submissive to you? Is that the joke?
Do you find it just fine to hit on 16-year-olds? Is that also the joke?
You're standardizing your abusive relationship to your daughter by showing other men who do the same thing and making it more of a commonplace thing to her, so that you can continue doing it? Is that the joke?
Oh, you know, actually, do you know what the joke is, Brandon? The joke is we demoralize our mother to the point where she sits on her knees and says, "I'm a dirty slut. I love cock." That's the joke. Oh,
But we're talking about his daughter here, not that.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah. You're talking about the other joke that happened on a different
I
stream
can't
with
keep track of
Whoremaxer.
all of the jokes. They're all so good.
They're all amazing.
You assume that religious people are conservative, and I don't think that's.
Well, you said yourself that you were conservative, right?
We used to come out of that kind of. I mean, that's sort of where I come out of, but that's why I say I'm moving towards this.
So I love parts like this, because this is quintessential spinning a web of lies, where you're saying one thing and then other people remember that you've said this one thing, and then you're going off and trying to defend another thing you have done that conflicts with what you've already said and with what you're saying now.
Yep.
And so you start getting caught up in the string of lies that you have already
You have
done.
to
and
invent.
the holes-
You have to invent a lie to explain away discrepancies with your other lies.
I'm
That's
conservative.
what's happening right now. Yes.
And I this is always one of my favorite parts of catching a liar, because they desperately claw at the web trying to keep it together.
But in inevitability, it'll fall apart.
Yeah, always.
Always.
Because each strand that breaks cannot be rebound.
One of my favorite quotes of all time, it's actually a Judge Judy quote. Do you know what it is?
No.
You don't need a good memory if you're not a liar.
Do you know one of my favorite quotes of all time?
What's that?
And I actually legitimately think it's a biblical quote too.
What's that?
You reap what you sow.
Yeah, that's a good one too. But you don't have to have a good memory if you don't lie. You know?
And I love how he's trying to explain that, like, this is the barrier of his conservativeness is, I guess, whoring out his daughter.
Yeah, essentially.
Everything else he's conservative about, but once we get to the whoring out parts, that's no longer conservative, because he's selectively conservative to fit the religious beliefs.
You said yourself that you were conservative, right?
We used to come out of that kind of. I mean, that's sort of where where I come out of, but that's why I say I'm moving towards the center. I don't. Do you think Pope Francis? I don't know what you know about Pope Francis. He's not really a conservative, and conservative people hate him.
How do you know? Do you personally know Pope Francis Ben Thorpe?
Do you have him on speed dial? Because I need you to call him right now and ask Pope Francis if he's conservative or not.
Oh, that's wrong button. What the hell is somebody doing? Come on.
He probably still wouldn't encourage a girl to dress provocatively and dance for a man or dance for viewers on stream, right?
You know, it's kind of interesting. Pope Francis recently sort of said, like, you know, dating on Tinder.
Sort of said and definitely said are two vastly different statements. You notice that?
Yeah, like if he said Pope Francis stated that whatever he's gonna say about dating on Tinder, or if he said something like Pope Francis sort of said or implied, there's room for interpretation that you're interpreting, so it goes into your head that you're interpreting it that way.
Like, we shouldn't be so uptight about it.
During the stream, Ben would join Hormaxer and Grace and would state that Grace needed to pop her cherry, referring to what I believe to be Grace being sexualized on stream. Grace then returned to stream wearing a more provocative style of clothing. Ben later encouraged Grace to parade herself around other streams, using her body as sex appeal to bring in more viewers. Soon after, Grace grew annoyed by her father teasing her for victimizing herself off stream, and she would threaten to leave. Things then got insanely weird as Ben arguably went beyond the line of morality as he cheered on his daughter to show off her chest for the stream and dance for viewers. Ben would later admittedly defend his choice in cheering on Grace to perform in front of Hormaxer.
Grace will wear a nice shirt that'll bring him over here, and then we keep him over here.
I have never seen Grace as a yet one piece of really feminine lingerie, garters, and everything.
All right, Uncle Max, can
He's
we pop
afraid of her own sexuality, even wearing sexual.
What is going on here?
I just had, like, my brain just shut down for a second. I have no idea what they just said.
I think he's talking about, so Ben is saying that he wants to use Grace and her cleavage to bring male viewers here, and Hormaxer, who's that fucking name? What an idiot, is saying, oh, I haven't seen Grace in a single piece of feminine clothing, and make her wear something. Is what I'm getting.
I heard words and I could not, like, connect them to what they were actually saying. I think I literally just had like a
pick something
off and on switch on my head there for a second.
Clothing.
All right, Uncle Max, can we pop her cherry tonight? Can we just pop her cherry on the internet?
I would love to.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Grace will wear a nice shirt that'll bring him over.
In a different stream with just Hormaxer and Grace, things would get incredibly awkward when Hormaxer would bring Grace Thorpe to tears while torpedoing her with a verbal onslaught of sexual demands. These are the types of scenarios that led viewers to second guess if Ben and Grace were just doing some weird reverse Sigmund Freud bit to collect views, as many detractors would chalk up these clips
Do you want food?
to evidence against
Are you ordering?
How was it working for me?
Little bitch, lick them.
McDonald's.
Lick them.
I'll take something if you want to order me something.
Put them to your
What do you want?
face and lick them.
I'll take some chicken McNuggets.
McNuggets.
I just...
You're not gonna get sauce because they never bring it.
That's fine.
Barbecue sauce?
Sure.
Barbecue sauce.
I might need to go take some Tylenol.
We're about halfway through.
I'm losing my mind.
Lick them. Lick them. Put them to your face and lick them. Exactly. Good. Good. Cry all you want.
me. Good.
Good. Cry all you want. You cry all you want. Doesn't matter. Now get up. Let me see your fucking lingerie.
Going back to Ben's arrest, his court date would be on February
That was
10th, 2023.
really
And instead of
fucking
preparing,
gross.
This terminally online 50-year-old would hop onto a Discord VC with his ex-wife and daughter to encourage Courtney to dance in front of him while in a tank top. This incredibly weird and unnecessary conversation would be interrupted by their 13-year-old daughter. Later, the father and daughter tag team attempted to convince Courtney to take off her tank top to reveal her bra. Courtney would finally give in and take off her shirt, showing her bra, which Ben and Grace mostly laughed and used the facade of trying to give her advice about bettering her body. Courtney's 11-year-old son would then walk in. After that, the stream transitioned to Grace and Ben getting ready for court while the others in VC, along with Ben, tried to lecture Courtney on being more confident, but in the most condescending way possible. After being late for court, Ben and John would be cleared of charges. During a post-court stream at Courtney's residence, Ben and Grace
you're
would
shocked?
visit and basically bully the mother
No.
while she tried to read the court documents on stream. At some point, Courtney
Okay, I'll tell you what. I can't. I think we're just gonna. I think we're done.
Okay,
I think I'm
so
done.
I'll put this in perspective for stream. These people, especially the father, is such a fucking disgusting piece of human waste that we physically cannot handle listening to any more about it because it's literally making us sick to hear.
Nope, I'm good. I don't want anything to do with these people. I don't want them. Quite honestly, I'm probably going to delist this stream. I don't want these people on my channel.
Yeah.
It's worse than I was expecting it to be, honestly.
Significantly worse.
So, I mean, the link, it'll be unlisted, so if you're in the Discord, you'll have access to it. But, yeah, no thanks. Good, I'm good. You good? I'm good. Should have played fucking Monster Hunter.
I agree.
Should have fucking played Monster Hunter.
I am actually like physically feeling ill from this goddamn piece of filth.
Yeah.
This might be the worst one we've ever seen. And this is taking into account Lily Orchid, Sneeko, Boogie2988, and who was the other one? The first one we did?
Oh, I know. I show speed.
No, not I Show Speed. The one before that.
I can't remember.
The one who also did incest.
Chris Chan?
Yeah, Chris Chan, that was it.
Yeah, he was mentally unstable, though. This guy is a manipulative child predator, Brandon.
Like, it was the internet that, like, really, really hurt Chris Chan. Well, it's just a father proudly showing off how abusive he is to everyone in his household and how he tries to take control of all of them. And it's just fucked up. The fact that this is going on with so much evidence and nothing is being done about it is really, really fucking concerning.
Yeah. Yeah, so if you enjoyed this, I don't know how.
Well, you won't be able to see it because we're listing it.
We'll catch you tomorrow for some more. I think this is going to be the last discussion hall we do for a while.
Yeah.
And if we do another discussion hall, it's going to be something more lighthearted. Like maybe some gaming-related news or something like that.
Yeah, something that isn't this, because I need it's been a while since we did the last one, and I already need, like, a long break from it.
All right, this was draining to listen to watch. And,
usually on these, there's at least something we can say, something we could do to lighten the mood or do. It was literally...
It's hard to joke about this.
It's impossible to joke about it. And I don't know how Ben isn't in fucking chains at the bottom of a cell prison block, blocked from the sun for the rest of his goddamn life.
There was one more thing that I have personally seen that I was wondering if he would show in this video. It wouldn't be surprising to me if he doesn't. because of the nature of it. But I just want to see if it's here before we end.
I haven't been this like
could possibly
seething
be.
in a while.
I'm gonna stand up on
Ben, do not.
anything. But this
Careful,
is the center
careful,
of this
careful.
guy's fucking
Okay.
life.
Uh-oh. Watch out. Ben,
This
don't.
is the center of your fucking life. This is Grosley's greatest
Ben, do
fantasy
not
to
pull
see
your dick
what's
out.
underneath this fucking piece.
On again, off again stream relationship that is still going on to this very day.
Say I'm sorry for burning your clothes.
Yeah, this is
I'm
it.
sorry for
This is
burning
it.
your clothes.
This is it.
The
Yeah.
Thorps even attempted and
Yeah. So, not okay.
So it's still going on, and he's becoming more physically abusive.
Yeah.
So his manipulation is increasing. Great.
Yep, real quality guy. Needs to be in jail.
Forever.
All right.
Like legitimately never let him see the light of day again. Literally lock him in the fucking pits.
Yeah, I agree. All right, dude. I'm good. You got anything else to say, or are you done?
All I would say is more angry. Dude, I have not been this like seething in a while. I am so fucking mad.
Sorry to ruin your evening.
I'll just watch something to make me laugh and about
Pull up one of Angry Joe's Madden reviews.
shove this to the furthest recesses of my mind to be fucking quickly discarded. So I'll end this with this. I've had the PlayStation menu open up on my main screen because I was playing it earlier, and it says I have it on the Monster Hunter one, and first of all, you get a free like re-editing of one of your characters vouchers.
Yeah.
And then you get they come in a bundle. It looks like of 3 that is $7 for any more. And on top of that, so like you know how we were saying it's really hard to get like the cooperative aspect.
Yes.
I see at the very top it says single player. So they view this as a single player game, which is where they really falter.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one.
Bye-bye. Yes, is one player there too.